But I think fundamentally, where our differences come down to is whether there was a creator or whether there was not a creator.
I liked one phrase you used there. You talked about the sort of society in which we wish to live. And I'll tell you quite freely that a society based upon Darwinian principles is exactly the sort of society I do not wish to live in. It would be a terrible society. It would be a sort of George Bush kind of society, if I can put it like that, or Margaret Thatcher kind of society. I do not wish to live in a Darwinian world. I do, however, respect facts, and I do recognize that the facts of science show that the world of nature is a Darwinian world. It's a very unpleasant world. It's a thoroughly unpleasant world, not the kind of world we wish to live in. So let us understand it so that we can construct the kind of society in which we wish to live, which will be a non-Darwinian society. It will be the sort of society which departs from Darwinian principles. A society that was based on Darwinian principles would be a ruthless, free market economy in which the rich trample the poor, in which it would be the sort of opposite of a liberal socialist society, in fact. In a way, I'm rather surprised, if we're talking politics, that the right wing in America is so hostile to Darwin. If we're going to be naive about applying science to politics, you ought to be in favor of Darwin. And I'm against Darwin where politics is concerned, but you cannot argue with scientific facts.
You actually helped to make my case quite well, and that is that a philosophy that is drawn out of Darwinism would be extremely brutal, and in fact has been.
Does she not realize that, like, you know, America was founded before the theory of evolution was around? She probably doesn't. She doesn't seem to understand much at all. She seems functionally retarded, is the kindest way I can put it.
That has been the experience.
I've just said that. I've agreed with that.
And yes. That's why the societies that have been built on a viewpoint that God created each one of us, however he did it, that's part of the science of unlocking, of discovering how that was done. But recognizing that there is a loving creator helps to build a society that is more than just livable, but pleasant.
First things first, I just heard her say creator, like a normal person. She wasn't all like creator, like a freaking tard bust. Listen again.
But recognizing that there is a loving creator.
Now all you have to do is continue to say creator like that instead of creator, and drop that freakish smile off your fucking face, and open your mind a little bit, and you're on the right fucking track, you dumb bimbo. She seems to not remember or think of any of the past societies or current societies that are built around God, like, let's say, you know, Islamic countries, you know, where it's run by Muslims and they stop everything to pray 5 times a day and stuff. Those are not always the happiest societies. She's just in some kind of la-la land. She doesn't understand that people go to war over this God shit. Or she does, and she just chooses to ignore it. It's scary that it's all just like, oh, God is love, and do-do-do-do. 9/11 happened because people just need to believe they came from a loving creator. Those people believe that. And their loving creator told them to kill people like you and people like me.
At Concerned Women for America, we have state chapters and even more local chapters. And one of the things they've been involved in is the debate over teaching evolution or intelligent design in the schoolrooms.
Let me get this straight. Do you have people that you train, and these are the people that are debating whether they should teach evolution or intelligent design in schools? And people wonder why Americans get laughed at. We're going back. It's like we want to go to the Dark Ages. We want to regress. I mean, that's what conservatives want anyway. They want to go back to the Leave It to Beaver time back in the 50s that never really existed, but in their heads it was just better back then. It was just always better. It was better when they didn't have their fucking BlackBerry. Or it was better before the pacemaker that's keeping their ass alive right now.
And the position we've taken is teach the controversy. Teach all the information, not just selected information that promotes one viewpoint, which most of the times that's evolution.
I love how she's upset because most of the time they only teach one side, and it's the side with all the facts and the evidence and the proof and all the research put into it. It's those guys who get taken seriously. Not the dipshits that think the world is 6,000 years old and they go around speaking in tongues. Who would have fucking thought? Who would have thought, you dumb fucking bitch?
But let's teach all the information so that the school children can learn how to think for themselves and come to their own conclusions.
Unfortunately for you, that's not how school works, or it's not how it's supposed to work. The math teacher doesn't teach the kids 1 + 1 = 2, or 1 + 1 = 3. It's up to you to make up your mind. And then if the kid says 1 + 1 = 3 later on in a test, it's not wrong. He made up his mind. That's what he chooses to believe, and therefore it's reality. And think of all the poor students, because they're going to flunk out of higher level courses later on. Either that or they're going to have to pull twice their fucking weight because they didn't learn anything in fucking high school, because dipshits like Wendy fucking Wright are trying to shove intelligent design into the fucking schools.
Nobody could possibly object to teaching children to think for themselves.
I wish that were the case, that people would not object to teaching all the information or teaching children in a manner so they can think for themselves. But sadly, there's been a very heavy-handed effort in the United States to clamp down, not allow any teaching that is contrary to evolution, even to the point of court orders.
When you say teach the controversy, it would be nice. I mean, of course, scientists teach controversies all the time. There's a lot of controversy in science. There's evidence on one side, there's evidence on the other side. In this case, however, we have a very large amount of evidence in favor of evolution. But the evidence on the other side is not evidence in favor of anything else. It's actually looking for little gaps. It's looking for little things that allegedly evolution can't explain. Say, look, we found something they can't explain. That must mean God did it. That's not really, doesn't sound like science, does it? That sounds like looking for gaps.
If it's evidence, then scientists should be in favor of teaching evidence, even if they may discount the evidence, even if they think it's inconsequential. As a scientist, scientists should be committed to teaching truth.
Yes, scientists are committed to teaching the truth. That is why they cannot go ahead and lie for you like you want them to. They can't lie and be disingenuous about shit like you are. They can't just sit there and shove the Bible and things they don't know into gaps that they don't know. All they can say is, we don't know for sure. But here is the evidence and the proof that we have. When there's a false piece of evidence or something's fake or it was a mistake, it's always science that figures out that it was a mistake. Science corrects itself. Creationism has never improved science one fucking bit. All you try and do is break it down. So don't fucking give us that, oh, well, you should be committed to telling the truth. Doesn't your Bible tell you to fucking not lie? So shouldn't you be committed to a little bit of truth instead of just using backdoor tactics to try and avoid coming to terms with reality so you could stay in your little fucking Bible bubble?
I think you didn't understand what I said. I said on the one side there is evidence. On the other side there is a looking for apparent lack of evidence. There is no positive
But that is what
evidence,
science is about. Science is taking a theory and challenging it to see if it can stand up.
She doesn't get it. She does not get it. She does not understand. She don't understand, boss. She don't get it. It's over her head. He's like, we are trying to show you we have positive evidence, and from that evidence we have determined that, evolution is a fact. Your problem is that you're looking for a lack of evidence instead of producing positive evidence for your own claim. You're only looking for holes in our evidence in order to prove your claim correct. You know what I'm saying? It makes no fucking sense. And she doesn't get it. She's, but if you teach both sides and teach the controversy and science has to teach the evidence, well, fucking duh. If science didn't look after the evidence, or they had found something wrong with evolution, they would have fucking corrected themselves by now. They would have admitted the goddamn mistake. Science does not have pride like you and your religion. When science is wrong, science says, that was wrong. But some scientist comes along and corrects it. Whereas you have this fucking thing called pride, which you're not supposed to. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. And your pride will not allow you to say that you are wrong or to say that you don't know. You just have to be like, no, I know everything. I know everything. I know how old the earth is. I know that the whole Bible is true, however I choose to interpret it. And I know that a year in the Bible could be any amount of time according to the context, because I could just make shit up and pull it out of my ass, and I'm a fucking super history buff because I'm Christian. You're so frustratingly ignorant. Literally, Wouldn't be surprised if you were thirsty at the end of this interview, walked into the bathroom, lifted up the fucking toilet lid, and stuck your fucking head in the toilet and started lapping up fucking water.
That's right.
And so while people may not like when the evidence doesn't stand up to further testing, but that's what science is about.
Yes.
What further testing have you done? What further testing on evolution have you done? You won't even say that there is any evidence. So how could you possibly have done any further testing on the evidence in order to disprove evolution? I am going to fucking have an aneurysm. God damn it.
Well, that is what science is about, but there are no cases known to me, at least, where science, where it doesn't stand up. I mean, there are cases where work needs to be done, and of course science flourishes on finding places where more work needs to be done. That's how science advances.
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, what's known to you. And I think that's why we need variety of people looking at theories and challenging it, because if it's one person who's dictating what can be challenged or can't, or what evidence is substantial or not, then we have a dictatorship.
So what you're saying is that you shouldn't just let the biologists talk about biology. You should let any fucking retard out there like yourself go ahead and speak about biology. Why not go ask someone who's never picked up a Bible to go teach about Christianity? Because you can't just have people that have read the Bible teaching about Christianity. You know, that's just a dictatorship. Oh, but you know, you gotta make sure you have people that absolutely have no clue what the fuck is going on and have them put their 2 fucking cents in. You're out of your goddamn mind. You know, you can't just let doctors operate on sick people. You gotta let people just kind of go at it. You know, I played that game Operation. I know how to fucking remove, dude, open heart surgery and all that good shit.
In science, scientists should be free to challenge theories and not be hemmed in, not be restricted by the current zeitgeist of those who are almost the high priests of science.
Well,
no, you dumb fuck. They're not almost like the high priests of science. You fucking retard. Everything's got to be like tied into fucking religion with this dumb bitch. She's like, but people shouldn't be ostracized for having different ideas. You don't think that back when evolution was just starting to get evidence that there weren't people that believed in evolution and thought they were fucking crazy? No shit.
Of course, he's right. I mean, I agree with that. But can you point to any positive scientific evidence in favor of creation?
I think the fact, as you pointed out, DNA, I think DNA helps to show that each one of us are individuals. And
yes, but they have to be individuals
distinct.
for evolution to work. I mean,
I don't think that's the case. I think
well,
that the fact that each one of us are distinct, that no 2 of us are exactly alike, that helps to show that there is some intervention at the point of each person's creation.
You heard her. Her positive evidence for creationism and there being a creator, using her pronunciation there, is DNA. She's going to use science to fight science. That's all I can fucking take for this installment, but be sure to join me for part 6, which I'll be making here shortly. And you may be asking yourself, how do I make it through these videos? And I can't tell you, but I can show you. Let's continue. Coctopus out.